Hey everyone, I'm Ashes,
And I'm Will. And
and this
this
is
is
Ashes
Ashes
and
and
Will
Will
Do
Do Disney.
Disney.
Each week, one of us will tell the other the history, facts, and stories behind the rides and attractions of Disney that have made special memories for generations.
Keep in mind that Ashes and Will Do Disney is not affiliated with or employed by the Walt Disney Company, and our views and opinions do not reflect theirs.
Now it's time to sit back, relax, and put on your ears because it's time for Ashes and Will Do Disney. Oh, hey there, Ashes.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing okay. How are you?
I am good. Today was a good day.
It was. I
It
did
is,
some,
yeah.
as
Today,
I refer to it, as you did your crafting and I did my podcast setting upping.
this was a very rare day, I will say. You got me to sit still for more than like 30 seconds, so
That's
kudos.
because I finally got you into Cobra Kai. I know, not Disney related, but I finally got you into Cobra Kai after telling you for a while to watch it.
I mean, whatever. I got to sit and Disney crafted while we just binge watched almost an entire season of Cobra
Oh,
Kai.
we'll finish it tonight too. We only got 2 episodes left of
I know,
season
I'm
two,
excited.
so
I've enjoyed it, so it was a rare day.
it was. It was. I got a new TikTok made, so go check that out. Look us up if you haven't already. Follow me on TikTok, or I guess us. I'm the one that does the TikTok videos, but follow us, Ashes
I
and
mean,
Will Do
it's you
Disney.
pretty much.
It's okay. It's okay. I've been watching pretty much weekly. I know you don't care about it, and I'm not going to blame you for it, but the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus,
Nope, haven't seen it.
I'm seeing it through just because I've started it, but and I know my sister likes it, so sorry, but I am just bored with it. It started off good, and then it just got real boring.
I'm
Spoiler alert: the last 2 episodes have just been Mandalorian episodes.
I am totally bored with it too.
I mean, you would be. I'm not gonna lie. You would be so bored with it.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say I'm bored with it.
And I mean, I even talked to my other buddy about it, and he gave up on it. He was just too bored with it that he's not even seeing it through.
Yeah, same.
So that's my
uh,
I guess Disney news right now is I think the Book of Boba Fett is boring.
Special news though, today is Zero's first
Yep,
birthday.
our dog.
Our puppers turned 1 year old today.
She did.
I'm gonna make her birthday cake tonight.
You are, and yeah, her name is Zero. For those of you who haven't heard any episodes where we've talked about her or how she got her name, when we got her, my only stipulations, I had two to getting a new dog, were one, had to be a girl dog because I just don't like boy animals.
You know.
I've had one boy animal in my life that I liked. Other than that, I just haven't been a fan of boy animals, period. And two, if we were getting a dog, her name would be Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep, but she's my dog.
And she is 100% your dog, and that's okay with me.
She doesn't listen to you.
Not in the slightest. She ran out the door yesterday and ran down like 3 houses and crossed the street and wouldn't come back until you came out. You walked out and called her and she ran right up.
I know. You're out there just like being like, come on, Zero. And you're like out there for a few minutes. And I finally walk out there and was like, what is happening?
Within seconds, you got her back in.
I know, because she listens to me.
Yeah, and even last night, we were getting ready to go up to bed and she went outside and I was ready to go up. And so I opened the door and like whistled for her and called her. No sign of her. So I told you, I was like, Ash, just call her up. From the stairs, you called her and she ran up.
I know, because I actually have worked with her and like have like trained her. I mean, she still has some work to do, but
She still got some work, but I mean, we got her with the intent of her being your dog.
I know, but it worked. Like she's my
Yeah,
puppy.
like she is a family dog, but like our other dog, Ion, she's pretty much my dog. She sleeps with me, she sits with me, like that's my dog,
Yeah,
and Zero is yours.
very much so. So she snuggles the kids though too.
She does. I mean, she does snuggle. Like we did a sleepover with our two older kiddos were gone for a sleepover last night, so we let our youngest sleep with us and have a little sleepover with us. And I was being pushed to the end of the bed, And I thought it was him the whole time until I actually woke up this morning and looked over, and it was Zero laying on her side under the blanket, like one paw draped across me. And so she did actually snuggle me, but that's only because our youngest took her spot in bed.
It's true.
So.
Poor Zero.
But she still snuggled with me.
She's a good girl. Okay, what you got for me today?
All right, let's do a little quiz here. And mainly I liked this one because you know me, I like my bad guys.
Always have.
Always have. So this is a shorter quiz.
Okay.
It says pick 5 Disney movie songs and we'll tell you which Disney villain you are.
Okay, cool.
Your taste in Disney movie songs says it all. While picking only 5 songs won't be easy, it will tell us which Disney villain you are. Find out which baddie you're most like by making these difficult choices.
Ironically, if I get Ursula, I'm totally fine with it.
Again, Oh My Disney, you can take these quizzes at ohmydisney.com.
I just don't want to be Jafar.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
I heard that one time we were doing a villain quiz and like you answered like 2 questions and you're like, oh God, I'm going to be Jafar.
Yeah, I know. Just read me the quiz well.
Okay. Pick your favorite song from Beauty and the Beast. Belle, Beauty and the Beast, Be Our Guest, or Gaston.
Lord, I'm supposed to know what the songs are just by their names?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
literally,
Can you
Beauty
sing
and the
them to
Beast
me?
is Beauty and the Beast.
Well,
Belle is
yeah.
when she's, you know, the starting song. Bonjour, bonjour. Be Our Guest, you should absolutely
I know Be Our
should know.
Guest.
Gaston, you should absolutely
I know that
know.
one. I know, this is hard. I guess Belle.
Okay, I said Be Our Guest. Pick the Disney movie song that you are most likely to play on repeat. Trash in the Camp from Tarzan.
I can't even tell you if I've really seen that movie.
Almost There from Princess and the Frog. I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan. Hakuna Matata from The Lion King.
Oh man, I guess Hakuna Matata.
Okay, I said I'll Make a Man Out of You.
Okay.
It surprised you a little bit too. If you were actually paying attention, I did not pick the Princess and the Frog song.
No, I was paying attention. I am a little surprised by that.
Yep. I mean, I do. I love that movie. Obviously, it's one of my favorites, but I actually really like I'll Make a Man Out of You.
We can discuss Mulan later. Keep moving on.
All right. Pick your favorite song from Aladdin. One Jump Ahead, Friend Like Me, A Whole New World, or Prince Ali.
Oh, Friend Like Me.
Okay, I did A Whole New World. That's actually my favorite song on the Punk Rock Factory album, too. The Whole New Worst.
Yeah, that's a good album.
Pick the Disney movie song that is most likely to make you cry.
Ooh, goodness.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King?
I'm not a crier, Will.
Yeah. I am, but not at, like, songs.
You probably cry more than me watching movies and shows.
That's fine, yeah. I mean, having kids turned me into mush. I See the Light from Tangled. Out There from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Or How Far I'll Go from Moana.
Ooh, How Far I'll Go.
That's what I said. Pick your favorite song from Hercules.
Okay.
Go the Distance. Zero to Hero. I Won't Say I'm in Love. Or The Gospel Truth.
Go the Distance.
Okay, I did Zero to Hero.
Did I get Jafar?
No.
Okay.
You are Ursula.
Ha!
People are drawn to your confidence and fabulousness. You seem to swim through the world with ease. Life is effortless for you because your powers of persuasion are so effective. Now, thanks for pooping all over Jafar, because that's who I got.
That's so funny that literally the only 2 bad guys I mentioned.
All right, so I was Jafar. It says you have monumental expectations for your life and tend to set your goals high. You also have an affinity for serpents and hourglasses. I do not have an affinity for serpents unless they're in their cage.
I would disagree.
Yeah,
you are
I
a
guess.
Slytherin. You
That's
love
true.
Cobra Kai.
And I do take the kids through the reptile house at the zoo.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I do like. I don't like touching them.
Yeah, but you.
I do
clearly
like
seem
looking
to
at
like
them, though. Just remember, it's okay to not always get what you want. Be careful what you wish for.
Can't always get your way, Will.
I mean, I feel like I don't always get my way. Even by your own admission, I don't always get my way.
I know. And then clearly you try to murder everyone in your, pathway and throw a fit about it, like Jafar.
I mean, I don't think Jafar tried to murder everybody. He just wanted to be the Tsar.
And how
He
did he try
imprisoned
to?
people.
Okay, I mean, same.
And used the genie to get it. I don't think he ever attempted murder.
You send the children to their room.
I mean, yeah, like a regular parent.
Imprisonment, if you ask them.
Yeah, okay. Well, what do you got for me this week?
Okay, so our little ones, not our littlest ones, but our middle ones, favorite ride has changed, but it used to be the People Mover.
Yeah, the Middle Kiddo People Mover.
Yeah, so I decided to do the People Mover.
All right, that's a fun one.
Yeah. So I went down that rabbit hole because you know me, I love the underdog. So I feel like the People Mover is one of those underdog rides.
It's very much an underdog ride.
That I love doing, and every time we go, I'm like, let's go do the People Mover.
Yeah.
So that's what I looked up.
All right.
Okay. The 1964-1965 World's Fair in New York was an important point in Disney history. Walt Disney would use the World Fair as an opportunity to develop, market, and innovate technology that he would take back to Disneyland, all with the nice perk of corporate sponsors helping him to foot the bill. 3 of the 4 popular attractions Disney had at the World's Fair made their way back to the park. It's a Small World, which we covered and talked about.
Of course.
Carousel of Progress.
Yep.
Which I definitely want to cover.
Oh, we're absolutely doing an episode of Carousel of Progress.
Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. I'm not going to lie, that just sounds awful to cover. Maybe you can do it, but that sounds boring.
Oh, that's a wonderful setup for me to do that if I ever choose to. You can do the boring episode, Will, that no one will listen to.
Yeah, you're welcome. Maybe you can make it entertaining. It just sounds boring to me.
I think I'm going to skip it.
Oh, okay.
Since you just set it up so wonderfully there.
That's fine. The 4th attraction, Ford's Magic Skyway, never appeared after the World's Fair debut, but it nevertheless made a significant impact in Disney's Imagineering. The ride involved guests boarding Ford's cars and traveling back into time into animatronic scenes of dinosaurs and cavemen. However, the ride's concept posed a problem: how to avoid fender-bender collisions between the cars. So this gave Imagineers the opportunity. I like that word, opportunity.
Yep.
I'm sure the Imagineers didn't necessarily see it as an opportunity at the moment, but definitely gave them the opportunity to come up with a new approach, and it was actually inspired by Ford's own manufacturing system. They mounted the cars to a constantly moving conveyor belt, so all the vehicles moved in perfect sync. Ford's Magic Skyway was the second most popular ride of the fair, and it inspired Walt Disney to advance the technology even further. I think that was talked about too in some of the other ones that we've covered.
Yeah, we have.
Pirates of the Caribbean and...
Well, we haven't done a full-on Pirates episode yet.
Oh, we haven't?
Wow, no, we sure haven't.
Oh, okay. Maybe you and I have just talked about it.
But no, we have talked about how Ford even touted that they had Imagineers from Disney building things for them. And
yeah. I mean, it's not like you and I don't talk Disney plenty well.
Oh, I know.
So.
But no, we have mentioned in episodes about the World's Fair and about the partnership with Ford.
Yeah, and just how that has definitely played a part into a lot of the other rides.
A lot of the rides. I mean, like Haunted Mansion, it's played a part in.
That's probably what I'm thinking of then. As Tomorrowland was growing and expanding in Disneyland, part of the expansion included the People Mover, which took the concept of a motorless, always moving ride, applied it to a tour of Tomorrowland. The ride was sponsored by Goodyear Tire. Why not Ford, you ask, since they sponsored Disney World and the World's Fair?
Why not, I ask?
Thank you. Well, Ford believed that the people mover meant the end of car sales in the United
I'm
States.
sorry, what? that was going to be the end of car sales altogether, was the people mover? Now, I mean,
Um,
I get it in the sense that, like, the original ideas behind that were, like, you take the monorail to your destination, and then the people mover takes you to, like, where you're supposed to
yeah,
stay.
it was a bit of a mild exaggeration, but
It's a bit of a
basically
stretch.
close enough to the truth. Ford had no intention of sponsoring a form of transportation that could reduce the country's reliance on automobiles.
Okay.
So, yeah, they were, again, having no part of it. Granted, here we are, what, like 60 years later, and there is not one people mover, like, anywhere.
Other than Disney World.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's a ride.
I guess there's, like, escalators and moving sidewalks. Like, maybe that's kind of almost
I mean,
a stretch of a.
sure.
But, clearly it did not replace cars.
No.
Yeah. You must remember that in the 1960s, monorails seemed like a viable form of future tech. So,
Correct.
exactly.
Which we did talk about that.
Yep.
And that was kind of Walt's idea with the monorail, was it was going to be the future of transportation.
Yep. So Ford executives worried that the people mover would evolve into that too. So Disney slapped some tires on each of the people mover vehicles. Like, literally, they had no function. They literally just put them on there. Yep, decorative tires. And Goodyear was brought on board as a sponsor.
Okay.
So,
good for Goodyear.
Yep, Goodyear was like, we'll do that.
That's fine.
So, on July 2nd, 1967, the Goodyear People Mover opened at Disneyland and gave guests an elevated view of Tomorrowland.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did the ride go around Tomorrowland, but it also went inside some of the attractions. For instance, you could gain a unique view of Space Mountain's interior.
It's the closest I've gotten to riding Space Mountain is doing the People Mover.
It is. Letting you get a glimpse of the ride even if you weren't a fan of roller coasters, for people like you. It offered a fun way to experience the whole of Tomorrowland, demonstrating the utility of the unique track system. Originally, each of the 4-car trains was colored either red, blue, yellow, or green with white roofs.
They're all just blue now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's totally different. Like, we'll have to either try to post some of the pictures, or if you go into the links for the sources, you can see some of the pictures of the old ones. Totally different, because like now they don't have roofs. Now that's like completely open.
It's all blue. It's all open. Yeah.
Yep, and these were definitely different looking. It actually looked closer to kind of like what the monorail looks like, but open.
Okay.
Like white with the stripes. They were repainted all white with the colored stripes. So they started solid colors, then they painted them white with the stripes.
Okay.
In 1987, 88. So similar to what the monorails look like. I'm just getting ahead of myself, clearly. In 1986, each of the 62 trains were retrofitted with safety rails for each car to deter guests from climbing out. In 1985, these safety rails were modified to completely wrap around each car, making it even more difficult for possible accidents to occur. I like how in the 80s, finally, like 20 years later, they're like, maybe.
Let's put some safety features on this.
Maybe some safety features sound like a good idea. In 1977, the Super Speed Tunnel was added to the People Mover. It was located in the upper level of the Carousel Building, which then housed America Sings. Race cars were projected on the walls of the tunnels around the trains. In 1982, projections were changed to scenes from the film Tron, and the tunnel was announced as the Game Grid of Tron by the onboard audio guide. After this edition, the attraction was advertised as People Mover Through the World of Tron.
Okay.
Because, there's one little spurt through Tron.
Yeah.
So, But Walt intended the People Mover to be more than simply a ride at his parks. Rather, he believed that the People Mover could become an alternative means of public transportation. So, like, he was on board with those Ford executives. He's
Yeah.
just like, I will replace your cars.
Yeah, it is going to replace your cars. It was originally intended as an idea of being the next form of transportation after you got off the monorail to go to your final destination.
Yep.
It's all supposed to be futuristic transportation, not just a ride.
Exactly. Walt was already developing plans for his experimental prototype community of tomorrow, Epcot. He imagined Epcot as a utopian metropolis in Florida alongside Disney World. In this futuristic city, there would be no cars cluttering the streets, creating traffic hazards. All citizens instead would use public transportation, including monorails and Wedway people mover systems. Unfortunately, Walt never got to see that dream become a reality as he died in 1966, more than a decade before the eventual opening of Epcot. Rather than try to create a new city without him, Disney leaders instead focused on making Epcot into a second park at Disney World. And however, Walt Disney World still got its own people mover, albeit not at Epcot.
Right.
Which is kind of a bummer, I think.
It is, because, yeah, it's in Tomorrowland at Disney World, and
yeah,
it seems like it would have been good to put in Epcot, being that that's what the original want and desire was.
I mean, and I'm not going to lie, with how big Epcot is, especially getting to, like, all those countries and walking around, they could totally use a people mover in
Epcot is pretty big, and, like, especially, it seems like once you get to the different countries, it takes a long time to get through there.
Yeah,
to get to
to
the front of the park to get out of there.
I adore Epcot, though.
Oh, that was probably easily one of our most fun days on our last trip.
Absolutely love Epcot. I've always loved Epcot, though.
Yep.
So, the Wedway People Mover opened on July 1st, 1975, based on the People Mover attraction in Disneyland, California. WED, so Wedway People Mover, WED for Walter Elias Disney. Like Disneyland, the Magic Kingdom People Mover offers a guided tour of Tomorrowland and takes you inside many of the local attractions. Magic Kingdom's version of the People Mover showcased improvements made by Imagineers since the original design at Disneyland. Rather than using the rotating tires for propulsion, this version utilizes linear induction motor magnets. Incidentally, the lack of tires meant that Goodyear does not sponsor Magic Kingdom ride like it did for Disneyland. So the Edison Electric Institute was the original sponsor of the ride. Instead of an open track with covered cars, this ride was designed the opposite from the Disneyland version, open air cars with a ceiling over the track. The engineering and design of the track itself was also reworked. While the Disneyland version regularly changed elevation, especially during the outdoor portions, the version for Walt Disney World would remain at the same elevation the entire way through. Sadly, the original version of the People Mover in Anaheim's Disneyland is no longer in existence. This is due to some misguided renovations. During the 1990s, Disney tried to revamp Tomorrowland, its whole Tomorrowland area, with another wave of refurbishments, originally intended to embody the fantastic visions of early sci-fi stories. However, budget cuts during that time period sharply reduced the level of upgrades to Tomorrowland. In fact, rides viewed as outdated were removed, including the People Mover, which closed in 1995. And by removed, more so just shut down.
I was like they didn't just take it out.
No, like the track is still there.
Yeah.
It's just not running.
It just doesn't run.
So this is where I legit just put in a grumpy, like, thanks Michael Eisner for, like, ruining things. Because clearly I had to blame him. I mean, he was in charge at the time.
He was.
However, one source also said that I guess I can't entirely blame him. Because in 1994, Disney store head Paul Pressler was tapped to become Disneyland's head executive. Pressler was widely known for unpopular cost-cutting measures throughout the park, such as closing attractions and buildings early and removing customer service training for cast members. Because those totally sound like great ways to...
Taking away customer service training for cast members was his idea to cut costs?
Yeah.
I mean, but a lot of them are in customer service and should probably know how to do that.
Yeah, but if you just tell them, like, you know, go be good and, like, go out there, like, clearly that was a great way to save money.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this is why there was some issues for a while.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, soon enough, attractions began to see wear and tear, including the Enchanted Tiki Room and, you know, the People Mover. However, no other rides received such lack of refurbishment or attention by management as the Skyway and the People Mover attractions.
Okay.
So, but then it also said Paul Pressler isn't exactly the one to blame for the People Mover's disappearance and replacement of the ride.
So first we've got, this was Michael Eisner, but we can't blame Michael Eisner. It's Paul Pressler, but actually it's not Paul Pressler.
Well, it just says, as many other Disney executives were intrigued by the idea of adding another e-ticket attraction. So, I mean, it was like Paul Pressler in charge of it, but then the other big wigs
he had support
were like,
from other people, though, to do it.
So clearly, it's not just Michael Eisner's fault. Now it's Michael Eisner and Paul Pressler's fault.
And then all the no-name executives that supported him.
So it's Michael Eisner, Paul Pressler, and friends.
And friends and company.
Yeah.
Okay.
He overstayed his welcome.
Yeah, we know.
That's all. Feeling that the People Mover was too old-fashioned, they tried to revamp the ride into a newfangled Rocket Rods attraction.
Oh. Okay.
You don't want to ride a rocket rod?
I mean, the name is already leaving a lot to be desired here.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, the Rocket Rods opened in 1997. The new setup added rocket boosters to the cars with the intent of making the experience more of a thrill ride. Because, you know, if you just slap some rockets onto the back of the car...
Makes it a thrill ride.
It's a thrill ride.
Okay.
However, due to an inadequate efforts to adjust the original setup, the ride flopped horribly.
I mean, it sounds like it, yeah.
I know you're shocked.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be a little irritated if they were like, here's this new Rocket Rods ride, and it's a thrill ride. And I was like, well, because I don't do the big drops. But I would look at a ride like that. I can do fast, and I'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
And then if I'm just sitting there not going any faster than I did on the People Mover, expecting to.
So they did speed it up. However, to account for the original track's sharp turns meant for slow-moving vehicles meant that the rocket rods had to erratically shift between sudden boosts and stops. So
that sounds terrible.
Yeah. Not only did this make the ride jerky, but it led to numerous breakdowns and traffic jams.
Oh, forget that.
Moreover, the rocket rods permanently disabled Disneyland's People Mover. So once they turned it into the rocket rods, it was just... And that flopped, it was just done.
There's nothing else to do with it.
Yep. The intense grinding from the rocket rods damaged the delicate track components. Constant malfunctions forced the ride to close indefinitely in 2000. So that was it. It managed a whopping 3 years.
I'm not going to lie, it's longer than I would have expected. Like, I thought you were going to say it opened in 97 and closed in 97.
Mind you, remember, when Disneyland first opened, it literally had a ride that was a tour of, like, a mud field.
Yeah.
And that ride stayed around.
It did.
So, you know. I guess I'm not that surprised it lasted 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So, still, the extreme wear to the track makes restoring the People Mover generations after its original design into a costly and difficult proposition. Since then, the People Mover track has remained abandoned but still there, even today in 2022 in Tomorrowland.
This sounds like they could do a Scooby-Doo episode in Tomorrowland with the People Mover, the old abandoned People Mover ride.
Legit. It's a sad reminder of what we have lost.
Yeah.
Like, when I go to Disneyland, and when you go to Disneyland, like, I feel like I need to take a picture now.
Yeah.
Like, sadly looking at it. Because I do like the People Mover.
Oh, yeah, I like it. It's fun.
So, even though rocket rods ruined our fun in Disneyland, luckily we still have the Magic Kingdom's People Mover in Disney World. That has not suffered the same fate. While Disney renamed the ride as the Tomorrowland Transit Authority in 1994, it never changed to the problematic rocket rods. Just changed names, did not actually change rides. In addition, the 1994 upgrades included a new narration from Pete Renaday to engage riders in a Tomorrowland's fiction sci-fi setting. For instance, the announcements claimed that passengers were riding the, quote, blue line. The fictional green line supposedly went to hovering neighborhoods, while the red line went to connected planets.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but, unfortunately,
gave the People Mover a little story.
Line. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority received additional improvements during a refurbishment in 2009. Along with a new paint job to the track and enhanced lights on the Beamway, we got a new narrator, Mike Brassell, who also composed music for Disney parks and narrated Living with the Land.
Okay.
Which we know is just my favorite.
That's your favorite, yeah.
I do adore Living with the Land. Not only that, but now you can hear voices from Disney characters as you approach the different attractions during the ride. In August of 2010, it was announced they were officially adding People Mover back into the name. So it was then Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover. So, instead of just Tomorrowland Transit Authority, it's now Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover.
Yep.
Which meant that the sign just changed, basically.
Yeah.
That's all. In March of 2020, the ride closed down during COVID for just over a year for refurbishment, but has since reopened. And people were freaking out, for that whole year that it was closed. Is the People Mover going to come back? Is it permanently closed? There was a little bit of, a
little panic.
Yeah, some conspiracy theories, what happened to the People Mover, people like it. It's some nostalgia there.
Yeah, for sure.
A part of what I was reading, too, when I couldn't just blame Michael Eisner, was the fact that they decided to close the People Mover in Disneyland because it wasn't one that brought in money, because there wasn't merchandise for the People Mover.
Which is baloney, because now there is merchandise
now
for
there
the People
is.
Mover.
So what I say to that is they should have just made merchandise.
Yeah, because when we went on our trip, we did the People Mover, and then you guys went and rode Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And our friends who went with us, their son also is not a big thrill ride guy like me, so he hung out with me, and we were walking around the gift shop right out that Space Mountain exits into.
Yeah.
And there's this hat in there that says, I conquered the People Mover.
Exactly.
I almost got it.
I kind of am sad that you didn't.
Yeah, I should have.
Yeah.
But I didn't. But it was really funny, though, because I was talking to our friend's son, and I was like, hey, should we get hats that say we conquered the People Mover? And he just very melodramatically goes, haven't we all?
Those preteen years.
Yeah. But yeah, there's merch for the People Mover, and it's funny merchandise.
Now. Well, yeah, because it's a great one.
Yeah.
I adore the People Mover. So a couple fun facts. An homage to the People Mover appears in the 2008 Pixar film WALL-E.
Sure.
Depicting a transportation system with the name People Mover and the ride's signature a circular boarding station. I adore the movie WALL-E. It's one
that's
of my
your favorite underrated
favorites.
movies.
I saw something fun, and you know what? Maybe we should do it. I saw something fun on Facebook where this family made, like, goodness, what is it called? Like a bracket, like, you know how they do it for sports, like
Yeah,
brackets, like,
like a tournament bracket.
yeah, but they did it for movies, like Disney movies,
Okay.
and it had the family like, each family member did it to pick, like, their favorite one, like, their favorite Disney movie, basically. And I'll have to find it. It looked like a lot of fun.
Well, Disney used to do the March Madness, whereas like they'd take attractions and make teams out of it. Like they had the like tower bellhops
Oh, how fun.
and stuff like that. I don't think they've done it for a while, but like I used to vote all the time on that
Oh,
because
that's so cool.
yeah, they just took different attractions and gave them team names and like did a tournament bracket in March to go along with March Madness.
Well, I think I want to do it. Maybe my next, next time we have people over, or my next girls' night or something, we should, bust it out and see what everybody's favorite movie is.
Okay.
Anyways, I saw Wall-E on there versus Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ooh.
And those would be like probably my top two would
Yeah.
be like Wall-E, Nightmare Before Christmas, and Meet the Robinsons. I'd say are like my top 3 Disney movies.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we digress.
I know, I'm sorry. Anyways, the People Mover goes about 7 miles per hour.
Which, yeah, of course, then, Rocket Rods is going to ruin the track because you took something designed for 7 miles an hour and made it go faster.
Yeah. 7 miles an hour, though, it gives you a nice little breeze to cool down in that Florida heat. Typically, the wait is very short.
Hey, you usually just walk right on it.
Yeah, which I think is part of the reason it's well loved. I think it's nostalgia and the fact that you're like, sweet, I get to sit down. You
literally
for 7
just
minutes.
walk right on.
Yeah. If you're lucky, you even get to see Space Mountain with the lights on, because typically the lights are off in Space Mountain.
I've only seen it with the lights off and the stuff flashing and like the music playing.
Exactly. However, if Space Mountain is down, Space Mountain and the People Mover run independently of each other.
Yeah.
So if Space Mountain is down and they have to turn the lights on in there for anything, for any sort of, to fix anything.
Yeah.
But you still get to ride the People Mover. You could get a cool little glimpse into
kind of
Space
behind
Mountain.
The scenes.
Yeah, which I think would be mind-boggling to actually see what the inside of Space Mountain looks like with the lights on.
Yeah.
Because that has just got to be a giant, huge roller coaster inside that building.
Well,
I think it'd be crazy. And then there is at least one hidden Mickey in the diorama of the hair salon.
Okay.
Which I totally want to look for next time. It's on the alien seen getting her hair cut, wearing a belt, and the belt has a belt buckle with a black Mickey face on it.
Oh.
Yeah. And just for fun, old time sakes, I have some deaths and incidences.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. Hey, I haven't had any for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, gotta leave it on a, not a fun note, but,
know.
So, in August 1967, mind you, this ride opened in July of 1967.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 month
Pretty
later.
quick, yeah.
Yeah. A 16-year-old boy from Hawthorne, California, was killed while jumping between 2 moving People Mover cars as the ride was passing through a tunnel.
Smart.
Yeah. He stumbled and fell onto the track, where an oncoming train of cars crushed him beneath its wheels and dragged his body for a few hundred feet before it was stopped by a ride operator.
Well, I mean...
Yep.
Sad, but... You play those types of games, you get those types of prizes.
I mean, it is sad. So this incident, though, is actually where like a lot of like little ghost stories come from, though, with the People Mover, saying that it was haunted because the rumor has it that this boy preferred blondes and can still be felt, or could still, I guess, because this is clearly in California, so it's not open anymore.
Okay.
Could still be felt pulling hair of blondes from time to time while it was open. In 1972, 4 teenagers were riding the People Mover when one teenager lost her mouse ears cap. She and her cousins jumped onto the track to retrieve them. Realizing they had to get onto a different people mover car, the first girl successfully got into a car, while the second girl ran through a tunnel and out the exit and then fell onto a guardrail and onto the concrete 30 feet below. She broke an arm, hip, and pelvis. She had to be in a body brace and had to have a pin inserted into her leg. She sued Disney for not having any warnings about the exit.
What? So, couple things there. One, don't get out of the car for ears.
I mean, yeah, you could buy ears for a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Two, I mean, why not just walk yourself out? I mean, I get it. I guess in the instance, like, I think about when the fire extinguisher went off in our room and I could have just moved it, but I let the whole thing fly.
Me.
In the moment, you don't think of these things, but in hindsight, it's like, why not just walk out the tunnel? You don't need to get into another car. Why are you running out? Just walk so that way you don't get surprised by an upcoming exit.
So when Will says the fire extinguisher incidents, what happened was we had a fire extinguisher in our room, you know, trying to be like responsible humans. And somehow the fire extinguisher got like stuck.
I was getting something, so we had toddler beds in our room. And it was in front of my nightstand, and I was looking for binoculars because we were going to a baseball game that night, and I wanted to get binoculars for the kids. So I moved the toddler bed, and it knocked over the fire extinguisher, and the pin fell out, and the bed wedged down on the trigger of the fire extinguisher, so it started going off. And in the moment, instead of just being like, whoop, let me move the bed and get it off the fire extinguisher, and we would have just had a little pile of dust, I panicked and was like, I'm not going to be able to breathe if I stay in here. So I ran out and closed the door behind me and let the whole thing unload in our room.
An entire fire extinguisher of the powder fire extinguisher material in our room. And it was over a week before we could sleep in our room again.
Oh, it was like 2.5 weeks that I was up there working on it and like filtering it out and letting dust settle and then like re-cleaning it. And...
yeah, it was pretty awful.
Yeah. So I guess I do get in the moment why this person was like running in a panic. But again, in hindsight, should have just walked yourself on out.
It didn't say what happened because it said there was 4 people. I don't know what happened to the other 2. Did all 4 people jump out of the car? Did 2 stay in the car? I'm not sure, but only the one girl sued Disney. So, on June 7th, 1980, an 18-year-old man was crushed and killed by the people mover while jumping between moving cars. The accident occurred as the ride entered the superspeed tunnel. That's all it said about that one.
All right.
Again, 18-year-old guy, clearly doing stupid things.
Things he shouldn't be doing.
Still very sad. Although I will say, so these all happened, we had one in the 60s, one in the 70s, one in, 1980. They didn't install any safety things.
20-some odd years.
Until 86?
To do this, after all these incidences, it took them 20 years to finally be like, you know what? People are doing dumb things on our ride. Maybe we should do things that keep them in the ride.
Clearly just telling them to stay seated, Although if you look at the percentage, it's still over, well over 99.99999, whatever percent of their riders listen.
I mean, yeah, common sense, but sounds like a lot of these things are just arrogance at the fact that it moves slow enough that they're like, we can get out and jump back in.
I guess so. Whoops. Okay, what'd you think?
I love that ride for the People Mover. That was mainly for the fond memory of it when our middle kiddo was, like you said, it used to be her favorite ride. And it was because you were riding Space Mountain with our oldest.
Yep.
And she wasn't tall enough to go on it yet, so I took her on the People Mover. And so she absolutely loved it. We got to go under Small World. They have the little dinosaur section. Or not Small World, Space Mountain. We get to go through that.
Yep.
They have the little dinosaur section that they kind of mention of like wanting to go through the prehistoric land.
Yep.
So I think
she talked about the People Mover for so long after that trip.
Long. She talked about doing the People Mover and how it was her favorite ride.
I know. And this time we went. Now she came back and she's like, I rode Tower of
She's a
Terror
daredevil now.
and Space Mountain.
Because she's tall enough to finally do all these things. So
now it's not the people mover anymore.
No, not the people mover. It is not.
I mean, we still rode it, but...
Yeah. So...
Cool.
But yeah, I always think it's kind of interesting too how like so many of these rides came about from things that happened at the World's Fair.
It is kind of fun though.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a TikTok channel out there that I've come across. I haven't actually met this person. I've talked to him a little bit through Facebook, but he's actually the president and founder of the Lost Skippers Social Club for Disneyland. And he has a TikTok channel where he's doing a lot of Tomorrowland stuff. So
that's fun.
So there's his little plug. I think, I'm sorry if I butcher his name. I believe it's pronounced Sharif. I'm apologizing now if I butchered it. But yeah, go check out his TikTok for some Tomorrowland facts and just some cool Disneyland facts. Yeah, it's called Did You Know Dis? D-I-S.
Oh, nice.
So,
I will fall down that TikTok rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think you'd really like it. I think our listeners would really like it because he does a lot of historical things about rides and attractions, and he's got a lot of stuff on Tomorrowland right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, go check it out. And that was a fun episode.
Thanks.
And next week we will finish up Bob Iger becoming CEO.
Sounds good.
That's it for this week's episode of Ashes and Will Do Disney.
Don't forget we need your mouse tales. If you have a funny, weird, exciting, or just a favorite Disney memory, send it to ashesandwilldodisney@gmail.com so we can read them on the show.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Ashes and Will Do Disney. This is a public group to follow. We're also on YouTube at Ashes and Will Do Disney.
Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you so much for listening, and have a magical day.